Man, I don't understand the MMA community, man. These guys want to go ahead and question Dana White because Dana White is saying John Jones is number one pound for pound, which I agree on. I don't understand why you guys are not disagreeing on that. I don't know why he's number three. There's been nobody that's been able to beat John Jones. Islam has been beaten. There's a guy that could go ahead and tell his kids, his grandkids, his great grandkids that he beat Islam. There's a guy that could say that. There's nobody that can say that about John Jones. Absolutely nobody. He is the creme of the UFC. He is the youngest UFC champion to ever hold that belt and soon to be the oldest champion to hold that belt. Guys, the totem pole comes like this. Dana White, John Jones, and everybody else falls into place. This guy has overcome, he's fought all versatiles of fighters. When it came down to a wrestler and Daniel Cormier. When it came down to a striker and Alexander Gustafsson, a clean striker, by the way. Thiago Santos. Dominic Reyes. Guys, Lyoto Machida, Shogun Rua. I mean, guys, Rampage Jackson, Rashad Evans, he's taken the legends out. Hall of Famers, and he's not number one pound for pound. Took some real, came back. Rusty from the octagon, 2 years gone. Came back against Surreal, gone. You guys forgot about this fight? Surreal, gone. This guy was a scary son of a bitch. Scary. A lot of people thought he won against Francis Ngannou in that fight. You guys forgot that? Francis Ngannou was the original Tom Aspinall. But what did John Jones do to Surreal, gone? Came in there, choked his ass out in about 2 minutes. Got out of the octagon, and he disappeared into the wind, and now you guys are crying like little babies. So he's going to go ahead, do the same thing to Stipe Miocic, and call it a career. What more does he have to prove by beating this Tom Aspinall guy? Why does he have to fight him? And if it comes down to the situation where John Jones wants to fight Tom Aspinall, guess where I'm putting my money on? The GOAT. He's the GOAT. Guys, I don't understand the MMA community, man. Let's go ahead and listen to what they're questioning Dana White. See what they have to say.
Sphere. And
like the video, subscribe.
Town hall to sort of figure out how
310 subscribers.
Lay this out for the media.
Sons of bitches.
It's going to be like our practice run with the staff on Thursday. So after Thursday, I'll have more answers for you guys on a lot of stuff.
Is John Jones the pound for pound GOAT?
Did what?
Is John Jones the pound for pound GOAT?
He's the pound for pound best fighter in the world, and he's the GOAT.
Why is he giggling while saying the question? Ask the question like a man. Stop giggling.
And you all know this.
He's the GOAT.
Numbers don't lie.
Does he have pictures of you?
I saw that on the internet too. Are you guys that fucking stupid? You can't be that fucking stupid to think that John Jones is not the pound for pound best fighter in the world and the GOAT.
Oh, what the hell? What type of answer was that?
That fucking stupid to think that John Jones is not the pound for pound best fighter in the world and the GOAT.
What type of
I'm
answer
not going
was
to talk to any of us either, because right now.
What do you mean?
Does John Jones have a picture of you? Yeah, you'd be stupid to see that he's not number one pound for pound GOAT. What the fuck? Is that the answer to his question? But maybe you didn't hear him. No, Dana White's deaf.
Because he's watching this, and we're all saying, questioning you, and
Yeah, question me. How do you? Who's better than John Jones? Who's pound for pound better than?
no,
Nobody.
okay, John.
At what point does activity come into play, right? I mean, we all agree there is nobody better than John Jones. He's the greatest of all time. There's no question about it. But at some point when you're looking at rankings, they do have to represent what's happening in the organization at that moment, right at that time. And in the past 3 years, he's had one fight.
And you thought he lost to Reyes.
How many questions are they going to ask? One question at a time.
Huh?
And when he fought Reyes, you said you thought Reyes won the fight.
He didn't win the fight. John
Simple.
Jones did.
But you said you thought he won the fight.
Who gives a shit? I'm not the fucking judges. The guy didn't win he didn't lose the fight. And the one loss that he has is from a referee that should have never been a referee in a million years. He's never lost. We were just talking tonight, these kids that come in here that are undefeated, you know how hard it is to stay undefeated? John Jones went through Murderer's Row. And when you talk about activity, and he's fought one time, but John Jones was supposed to fight. If John Jones was sitting on the couch and saying, yeah, I don't know when I'm going to fight again, then he's definitely not in the pound-for-pound discussion right now. He was scheduled to fight, and he got injured.
Thank you. Literally, guys, this was the plan. Are you guys forgetting the plan, the game plan? Why are you guys switching up on the plan? This is what's wrong with the MMA community. You guys are just switching up on the game plan. John Jones doesn't have forever in the game. He doesn't have forever. This guy said, I'm going to go out there and fight Francis Ngannou. That man right there, the original Tom Aspinall. I'm going to fight him. He ran. Cool. I'm going to take out the next best guy in the division, and so real gone. Talk about. Cool. Now I'm going to take out the greatest heavyweight in the world. And now that I take out the greatest heavyweight in the world, why do I need to go ahead and have this conversation with Tom Aspinall? Why? I just don't understand. Because he just, you can have the belt after I whoop his ass. Have it. But why?
He is an active fighter. He is absolutely an active fighter. And when you talk about pound for pound, and I don't want to shit on any of my other guys, but who is it right now? Islam? Islam, many people believe, lost to the guy who's a weight class below him. Is that how pound for pound works?
And looking back at that fight, I don't think Islam lost it, man. I don't. You guys told me. You guys have informed me, and I've watched the fight with you guys. And rewatching that fight, Islam won it. I thought Volk won it,
including people in this room.
But he got the win. It doesn't
Right.
matter what we
You're,
say.
you're absolutely right. But he fought a weight class down. He fought a weight class down. John Jones fought a weight class up. And let me tell you what, when all the guys were in there, you had the John Jones, the Anderson Silvas, and the George St. Pierres. I know who wanted to fight who and who didn't want to fight who. And John Jones has always been willing to fight everybody. You know,
John Jones against Anderson Silva. Do you understand? Anderson Silva is very smart for not taking this fight. Because if Anderson Silva fought John Jones, he would have died in that octagon. Yes, and I mean that with the bottom of my heart. Anderson Silva would not have been the same man that we see him as today. It would have been because of John Jones.
you know what I mean?
And John
The only
Jones
real
back in those days?
Mark with John Jones. It was, and it was his fucking team that he was with at that time, who I could tell you 50 fucking stories about. The Chael Sonnen fight. When they were
Yeah, I'd dug Chael Sonnen too. I dug Uncle Chael.
refusing to fight Chael Sonnen. You know what I mean? But other than that, John Jones has fought everybody that's ever been put in front of him. He went through Murderer's Row.
Uncle Chael!
And if you look at who he
The
fought
bad guy.
at the time when he fought them, look at the record of the guys combined that he fought. And the list just goes on and on.
That makes him the greatest fighter of all time, not the greatest active fighter, because he is not an
It's the greatest active fighter.
active
Guys,
fighter. He's fought one time in over 4 years.
He is an active fighter. He just got injured. He was going in.
But he hasn't fought.
He fought Cyril Gone. What do you mean he hasn't fought? You see him fought Cyril Gone.
And he was going in to fight at heavyweight again.
Okay.
A weight class above.
But that's
and he fucking destroyed the guy who was the best guy in the division.
But that's an unfortunate thing, and I think everybody here, if he was active, if he had fought one more time, would say he's number one.
He was active. He blew his
hasn't
fucking
been
shoulder
He
out.
said he was supposed to fight Stipe. That's what I'm saying. He was supposed to fight Stipe, got injured. Now fighting's rebooked. I'm going to fight him again. Like, you fucking cucksuckers, shut up.
in training and then had to recover and is still coming back and fighting that fight.
So here's the argument. You could say
He
that
is
we don't know anything.
John Jones
You
is,
could say
is
we
active.
don't know. No, see, that's what you do. You talk over us, so we can't answer.
I apologize. You go ahead.
So if he fought and we don't put him number one, then you have that argument to say you don't know what the hell you're talking about. We are all, I think everybody in this room is saying he's the greatest fighter of all time. And I think most people in this room would say he is the #1 pound for pound fighter of all time. But you can't just sit on your laurels from something you did 3, 4, 5 years ago.
When was the Cyril Gane fight?
Since Islam, he hasn't fought in 18 months.
Okay.
Okay, and it's going to be 20 months by the time he gets in the ring. So that, assuming he gets in the ring, right?
Is the fight like officially booked?
We don't know.
I have to see.
He's going to be.
They say it's November, but
all I think everybody is saying, and the
I have to
argument
see.
against you is the fact that most people who do pound for pound lists have a 1-year cutoff, unless they're, they had a fight scheduled at the time. So John fell out of pound for pound list because it was over a year and he didn't have a fight scheduled.
He did.
He doesn't have.
He did have a fight scheduled, and he got injured.
And so that. Okay.
And now he does have a fight scheduled now.
How many times did we ask you, Dana? Is he fighting? I don't know what's happening with John Jones. Like.
And he did. Dana did do that. I'm not gonna lie. Dana did suppress some news.
Just like you say about Conor now, right?
I did not say I don't know what's happening with John Jones. What I said was John Jones is injured, and he's recovering from his injury. Fucking common sense. Everybody knows that. This guy just said he knows he's fighting in fucking November. Will I announce it? I said I'll announce it when the whole card is. But everybody knows he's fighting. It's fucking silly. And I don't know what this game is with everybody, but John Jones is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Until this fucking guy, and he has been he hasn't fought, what'd you say, 18 months since the Cyril Gane fight?
18 months and then 1 in 4 years.
So 18 months, he moved up and he fought Cyril Gane and destroyed him in a weight class above him, who was the #1 guy in the world, and in the UFC.
I mean, I could go ahead and repeat after Dana, but Dana's saying it for me. I can repeat after him, but he's saying the same thing I'm saying. Literally. We just sound like a broken record at this point.
Then
Literally.
we book another fight.
Preach.
He's training for the fight, blows his shoulder out, which means he's still active. Gets surgery.
Yeah, you understand? The shoulder injury hurt. Trying to throw a jab, trying to throw an elbow with the shoulder, and let him recover. Can the man recover?
Covering and his
Try to put your arm up and with your shoulder hurting.
He is an active fighter.
That
Kind of
hurts.
like Bill Clinton's definition of is.
I don't even know what that means, but
That was when he was getting impeached, and then the lawyer. But forget that.
no, but he has been an active fighter.
All right. Okay.
He's
All
active.
right.
It's not like John Jones was not active and was not accepting fights. And I also believe, because I know how John Jones is, John Jones fights and beats Stipe. If he wins, I think he fights Aspinall. So.
Oh, trust me, Aspinall doesn't want that smoke. This is what you wish? This is what you've been asking for? This is what you should get now. John Jones, if you go ahead and face Tom Aspinall, I want you to go ahead and decimate this son of a gun. Decimate him. Take him in the wood, take him behind the woodshed, and hurt him like you never heard it. Like you heard Lyoto Machida. Go back to those days. John Jones, did you guys not see what this man did to Cyril Gane, the heavyweight? You guys were praising Cyril Gane. I was praising Cyril Gane. We all were praising Cyril Gane. We all thought Cyril Gane won against Francis Ngannou. We all did. John Jones did that to him. Now all of a sudden, you guys claim Tom Aspinall to be the man because he knocked out Curtis Blades? Curtis Blades? Damn, I hate the MMA community.
It's all just, this is some little fucking game we're all playing that I don't understand.
Well, and Dana,
he is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, and he's the greatest of all time.
Point of this
and you don't have to like him. It's not like me and John Jones are fucking,
I like
buddy.
Well, I like John Jones, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I will say that I've had my share of arguments with him just like you have, but I like him. But I think the last thing is, too, who he is fighting, right, coming up. So everybody in this room thinks Aspinall is more highly rated than Stipe at this point. Stipe's reputation.
Yeah, and he is. Aspinall is better than Stipe.
Is fantastic, but he has not won a fight since he beat DC in 4 years. So that also plays into it. partially a factor when you have a guy like Aspinall knocking Sergey Pavlovich out in a minute, Curtis Blades in less than a minute, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
That's just me.
No, I don't disagree with you. But here's the flip side to that. So what do? A guy who's looked at as the greatest heavyweight in the UFC, right? This fight set up. John Jones gets hurt. Not his fault. He has to wait and go back into fucking training camp again. He was training. So do I just yank it away from Stipe and say, hey, go fuck yourself and sit on the sidelines for 2 more years? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah, and just retire into the sunset? Like, bro, I promised these dudes this. Like, these dudes deserve this, man. These dudes have done way more, paved the way more than what Tom Aspinall has done.
If I did that, you guys would be like, oh, you fucking disrespected the greatest heavyweight ever. And you know what I mean? So would the fucking fans. So I should just shit on Stipe because John got hurt and not make the fight that he was already supposed to fight.
We'll end it here, but I'll talk to you later.
What?
Okay, then the answer to that would be you should have had Stipe fight Aspinall or somebody else, right? In the interim, because how do you qualify?
How many fights you want Stipe to fight? This is the Stipe last fight. You want Stipe to fight 2 more times? God, the man is about 42.
For a title shot.
It's the last fight where he's about to give it his all.
2021,
his all.
And you lost that fight. How do you qualify for a title shot sitting out for over 3 years and just sitting on the sidelines waiting when you're trying to say who is the best fighter in the world? Should you not be active and be competing and be beating? You said yourself, and Hunter has said that the UFC heavyweight division is the best it's ever been, right? So should he not be challenging himself against those fighters? So when John got hurt, instead of saying Stipe versus Pavlovich, Aspinall versus Pavlovich, why not Stipe versus Pavlovich or Stipe versus Aspinall at that point? That would be the argument.
So I have two legends in the sport that wanted to fight each other. These guys are lined up. One guy gets hurt. And this
Hall of Famers, legends.
This is the fight that they both want. What do you do? You don't show the guys the respect. And I guarantee you this, if Stipe wins, Stipe's going to retire. You know what I mean? This will be Stipe's last fight. So are you, the media, telling me I should just tell Stipe to fuck off and, good luck to you, Stipe. Right off into sunset. Go fight some fires and that's a wrap for you, buddy, because Jean got hurt. Or do I show this guy the respect that I should show him and give them both the fight that they want? That's the position I'm in. We had this thing lined up, and again, like you said, if Stipe was 32 years old, then that's probably what we do. But this is probably Stipe's last fight, win or lose, and.
Thank you. Give him that. He deserves that. Man paved the way for the heavyweight.
And I'm not going to disrespect the guy. He accepted the fight. He was ready for the fight, and John got injured. If you don't think that I wouldn't love to just say, hey, let's do fucking Stipe and one of the top 3 heavyweights, and then we do John Jones versus...
And Stipe is a tough night out for John Jones. John Jones have a long night out with Stipe. And then like Stipe is the guy you sleep on. You have to train for Stipe.
Oh, it would be great, but we already agreed to this with these guys. We already had a deal, and John got hurt. It's not like I'm trying to pull off some fucking, fight nobody wants to see, or not give Aspinall's a young badass dude. He's got plenty of time. These guys are going to fight in November, and he will fight John Jones if he wins. I almost guarantee you that. And if Stipe wins, then we'll figure out what's next for Aspinall.
So if Stipe were to happen to win, does Aspinall become the full champion given you
then who knows too? Let's see if Stipe wins and Stipe feels great, maybe Stipe does take the fight. I don't know. I'm just saying, me right here now, I think that if Stipe wins, Stipe probably retires. But you never know until the fight's over. Anything can happen in a fight. Stipe could go in there and win spectacularly, and he beats the greatest fighter of all time, and maybe he wants to test himself against Aspinall, and maybe the money's right, and it all lines up, and he wants it. Who knows? But I made a deal with these 2 guys that they could fight each other, and One guy got hurt. Now he's ready, and the fight's going to happen.
That freaking simple, guys. John Jones, the GOAT. Respect it. #1 pound for pound. Respect it, guys. Like the video, subscribe. I don't have to tell you twice. And some of you guys might dislike it. I know you Tom Aspinall fans. I really don't give a fuck. I'm out.